Well, welcome to the Exposed Devotional series. Today's text is found in Colossians chapter 3, verse 5. Let me read it for you. Put to death, therefore, whatever belongs to your earthly nature: sexual immorality, impurity, lust, evil desires, and greed, which is idolatry. See, if I pay close attention to my thought life, my motives, my feelings, there's a lot more impurity, lust, greed, envy, and idolatry in my heart than I am normally used to seeing there or assuming is there. I remember recently with my wife, we had a few day long conflict. It was 3 or 4 days long. And I was anxious through the whole thing. I was on edge. I was tense. I was just reactive. I was saying things I shouldn't say. I was constantly feeling like on the edge of just a ticking time bomb, on the edge of just frustration and anger at all times. It was 3 or 4 days long, and in the midst of it, I didn't quite understand what was going on. But when I look back at it, I actually understand now really what was going on. You see, I had an iPhone 8 Plus, and I loved that phone, but it broke, it shattered, the screen was shattered, and it was still somewhat usable, but not ideal. And so my wife and I agreed that I could get a new phone. I could upgrade my device. So I spent a few days looking for a good deal on a device, and I found one through TELUS's website. It was a refurbished iPhone XS XS or whatever, and it's with the new camera. It's got some new features. You know, it was affordable, but it would have had a lot of upgrades. I was excited to use. Well, it took a few days working out things with TELUS in order for the order to actually go through. There were some complications with it that created a tension and a frustration and anxiety in my mind. As well, there was some issues with shipping. And so I was spending 3 or 4 days dealing with TELUS and shipping companies trying to figure out how to get this phone as soon as possible. Now, getting it as soon as possible wasn't necessary. The other phone still worked. It was fine. But what was actually happening in my heart that I didn't realize until later is that I was actually lusting after this phone in the respect that I was lusting after all the uses I would have of this phone. I was picturing and thinking about all the cool things I'm going to do with it, the pictures I'm going to take, the videos I'm going to take. I had spent so much time researching phones and watching videos on phones that when I got this set in my mind, there was nothing that was going to distract me from it until I achieved it, until I got it. Part of my personality struggles with that kind of lust, and it consumes me. The idolatry of it actually consumes me to a point that it hurts the relationships around me. It makes me an anxious, tense person. It makes me distracted. I'm not thoughtful. I'm not thinking about others. I just get my mind stuck on this one thing, and it's all day long. I think about it, then I get frustrated because of what's happening with it, and then I think about it, and I get frustrated, and then I think about all the cool things, and then I just am distracted. And that really affected my relationship with my wife for quite a few days on end. It hurt her, and it hurt us. See, the verse says, put to death, therefore, whatever belongs to your earthly nature. Whatever lust or greed you have inside, whatever idolatry is there, it says put it to death. Now, in order to do that, you need to recognize that it's there. You see, if I had recognized what was there from the get-go, I could have more easily said, dude, it's fine. You're going to be fine. It makes no difference. It doesn't impact your life. You can thank God that you have a phone to begin with. You can praise God that you're able to get a new phone, and you can be just patient and deal with it, and it's not that big of a deal. I would have been able to tell myself, like, look, all that stuff you're spending your time focusing on is not worth the conflict in your relationship with your wife. It's not worth the frustration that you're causing yourself and her. But I wasn't able to do that because I wasn't able to see and be aware that it was lust and idolatry that was leading to it. We need to see things for what they actually are. We need to stare these things in the eyes, and we need to choose otherwise. I was emotionally exhausted living this out, and I was emotionally exhausting those around me. And I think you probably struggle with the same things at times. Maybe my question for you this morning or today is, what season are you in, and where's your heart at in this season? Is there any greed or lust or impure thoughts that are actually coming up to your consciousness, but then you're pushing down and suppressing as if they're not there, that you haven't actually faced and dealt with? Are there anxieties and concerns and tensions and bitterness and resentment that keep surfacing once in a while, but you're not actually facing the root of and paying close attention to what's causing it? Are there things in your life that actually need to be put to death? And what's required is actually looking at them for what they are, and you're afraid to do that. My encouragement to you today, through this devotional, is to take some time to self-audit, to look at yourself honestly, to see things for what they actually are, and maybe today is the day you can put one of those things to death for the first time or the first time in a long time.